Aljo said something thought-provoking for me. He was reflecting back on his fight with Peter Yan, and he said, and I quote, "It is criminal that round," I think he said 3, but round was not a 10-8 round. Now, hold that thought. I want to come back to that. Aljo had better never again be doing math in the middle of a fist fight. He got it right. He took a big risk. There's times in life you've got to take risks. This was a risk. I did the same math that he did. It turned out that his equation was correct. But Aljo gave away 2 rounds. He needs 3. You want to talk about math? There's the numbers. You need 3. He gave 2 away. He needs to never, never, never do that again. However, let's take a look at this. He believes he should. Last week he said he should have had 2 10-8 rounds. That one of the reasons that he did sail it in rounds 4 and 5 is not only did he know he was up 3 rounds, he thought he had 2 of those that was 10-8. Okay, great. He had that part wrong, but he had the 3-2 right. So he's safe. Whew. But learn the lesson nonetheless. I am all but positive in telling you that Coach Longo has said those exact same words to Aljo. But here we are, and Aljo says round, I think he said 3, should have been 10-8. In fact, it was criminal that it wasn't. Well, let's take a look at that. My understanding, and I don't know all of the rules, but I don't want to. I don't want to get announcers and judges and referees together. I want there to be controversy. I want there to be criticism. Even if that controversy and criticism is unwarranted because of a misunderstanding of the application of the rules. I still like it. Very unfair to the administrators. I'm just telling you, I like it. I think controversy is a great thing. I really don't want to have a clear understanding, but I will give you my understanding. If you were to ask me to explain to you, how do you get a 10-8 round? A 10-8 round has to be eligible for stoppage, where a referee has taken a look and could have stopped the fight but elected not to. The judge can then come in, essentially superseding the referee and making it a 10-8 round, saying, hey, you should have stopped it. There should never be a fight, and there has been. There should never be a fight where there's 2 10-8 rounds. There had better never be a fight where there's 3 10-8 rounds, because that is the judges correcting the referee's discretion. That's how I see it. To have a 10-8 round at some point within that round, the round had to be eligible stoppage. Now, I bring that to you because that didn't happen in the round that Aljo's speaking about. Aljo had back control on Yan and dominated him better than anyone has ever done in the history of the sport. Now, it wasn't eligible for stoppage. He was not raining down strikes. You don't get a stoppage for looking for submissions, right? It has to be strike-based. That did not happen. But Aljo put Yan in a position where Yan was not fighting. He wasn't even able to fight. If you're in an ass-whipping contest and you're looking at your opponent and your opponent is looking away, do you see the advantage? Would any of you fight Jon Jones? Be real honest. Would any of you fight Jon Jones? Okay, great. Now let me tell you, would any of you fight Jon Jones if Jon Jones never got to look at you? You take the money, you take the walk, you go on pay-per-view, you get all the exposure. He never gets to turn and face you. I mean, do you see the difference? I think that we can agree. Imagine that they're on their feet. Okay, I'm being silly here, but just come down this road with me. Yan goes and looks away. Sterling's behind him. Oh my God, what do I do? Do I hit him? Why won't this guy turn and face me? Imagine that Yan did that, though, for 3 of 5 minutes. It's going to be, yeah, you're going to say it's a 10-8 round. He didn't even engage him. He didn't even try to fight him. Now you're going a step further. A step further is this wasn't done by choice. This was done against his will. It was done by the will of Aljo to lock into a position where now Yan can't even engage him. He's looking away. That is dominance. That is absolute dominance to the highest levels. So am I right? Does there need to be an element of an eligibility for stoppage by TKO? Maybe I'm not. I don't know. It is very peculiar. I've never called for a 10-8 round unless there was damage, to the extent that it was eligible for stoppage at some point, to the extent that the referee either should have stepped in there or even talked about it, even said some words, even gave a mannerism. The judge can come in and fix that. That's how I see it. I don't believe any of that's actually in the rule book. I don't believe anything about what I said that a judge comes in and supersedes the referee. I don't think that that's within any administration of the 50 just in these United States. It's my interpretation. And I've never seen a 10-8 round anywhere where that element that I just described for you wasn't present. But there is a relevance when you dominate a guy so much that he can't even look at you. He wants to attack you. He's trying to find you. He's trying to face you. And for 3.5 minutes, you put him in a position against his will where he can't even do that. It's interesting. It is interesting. It's an interesting argument. And Aljo, as the champion of the world, most certainly has the right to raise his side of the argument. And he's not bluffing. Now, I would ask you this. When I talk about he's not bluffing, he really feels that. What is he attempting to achieve? Because there's only two options. He's either keeping this fight out here, but nobody goes back in time. You go watch football, you're going to hear nothing about Brady. Brady wasn't as good as Joe Montana, and I don't want to have a back and forth with you guys. My point is the same, which is sports only go one way, which is forward. Been some great Super Bowls. None of them will ever be on ESPN again. Only the next Super Bowl. So sports that only go forward, there's got to be a strategic reason that Aljo keeps on pulling us back. Does he really feel he needs to justify himself? Is he just a nice guy and somebody asked him a question and he happened to answer it? Or strategically, does he want to get in there with Jon again? Aljo's got one job as a champion of the world. Get the most money against the easiest opponent. That's his job. Was there something about the fight with Jon that he liked? Something about the attention, something about the notoriety, something about the paycheck, something about the reward. Is there something he liked? Is he trying to go and do it again? Maybe. I wouldn't think so. I don't like rematches myself. I want to rematch anybody I ever fought that got the jump on me. But I didn't love giving that back. Right? When I got I did pass that favor back, but I didn't want to. I wasn't excited about, oh, God, this guy again? Already seen him once, got to go through that again. It's just one of those situations, but maybe Sterling doesn't agree. Maybe he's more comfortable with the familiar. He wants to be in there with the devil that he knows. Maybe. Or it's his way of closing the book on it. It's his way of moving. Guys, this wasn't a close fight. This was not a controversial fight. I got screwed. I won the fight and I still got screwed. That's how bad I kicked this guy's ass. Bring me somebody else. I don't know what his message is. I'm not positive that he knows and he doesn't have to. His heads are up in the cloud. He's on a victory lap. He gets to stay there. Every fighter gets 2 weeks. He's only had one. He gets to enjoy the rest of this. He gets to eat pizza, stay up late, drink soda, avoid the gym. I mean, there's just things that you get. There's a reason that you work so hard and you sacrifice, and it's for these couple of weeks. But I do wonder, because it only has one of two possible outcomes. When you keep talking about a fight that is in the past, it's because you're trying to redo it, which would be a very unusual thing for a champion to do, or it's because you're trying to close the book on it and avoid it. I don't think Aljo owes anybody an explanation. I think a lot of us owe Aljo an apology. He did win that fight, straight up. I didn't see any 10-8 rounds. But I'm also disclosing for you Chael's requirement for a 10-8 round. That wasn't there. Maybe I need to look at it different. A level of domination that you have a guy's back and you have him facing the opposite direction against his will, that means something. I'm just asking you guys, what?